You're watching the CBS Food Information Network.
The Yankees have been to this Canyon of Heroes before, but never has the road been so littered with obstacles, from injuries to slumps to those who insisted a three-peat was impossible. But in New York, anything's possible. With the specter and the spectacle of the first Subway Series in 44 years looming as the backdrop, and a city poised for perhaps the most anticipated sporting event in its history, the pressure seemed too great for mere mortal men to overcome. But the Yankees proved once again they are immortal. Adding to a legacy already unparalleled in professional sports, they are a dynasty, the team of the century, and now the Subway Series champions. Let the coronation begin.
From the famous Canyon of Heroes, this is CBS 2 live coverage of Salute to the Champs.
And there it is, a live picture of the Canyon of Heroes, where within the hour the New York Yankees will begin their trek to celebrate in Lower Manhattan their unprecedented 26th World Championship.
That's right, and we're coming to you live from City Hall, where 5,000 VIPs are getting ready to see the Yankees get their keys to the city. You're looking along the parade route right now, and it is already deep, and we still have about an hour to go.
Hard to believe that there'll be room for more than 1 million people here, but if there's going to be room for 1 million people anywhere in this country, it's going to be here in New York City. We'll also take you up to Yankee Stadium in a little while, show you where the parade starts, not the step off, but where it really starts, because that's where the Yankees will come on board their buses and work their way downtown.
That's right. As you can see, the ticker tape is already fallen. It's already around his face. Everyone's ready to go. Welcome, everyone. I'm Cindy Shue, here with our sports director, Brett Haber, and Michael Pomerantz.
You know, we've been here 4 times in the last 5 years, and there's a tendency to say that, hey, it's old hat for New York. We're used to championships, blah, 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 blase, blase. I think when you get in the middle of this electricity, when you see the 1 million people start to gather, there is nothing normal about, and if you don't get excited about a parade, and you don't get excited about celebrating 26 championships, good God, you don't have a pulse.
I don't know what age our average viewer would be, but suffice to say, it's got to be very exciting, even for a guy like Derek Jeter, now 26 years old. He's already got 4 rings, and here he is again.
It's not that easy. It's not. You're not supposed to walk into baseball, spend 5 years, and win 4 championships in your first 5 years.
And he is gracious enough to always say it never gets old for him.
No, we would hope so. We should probably give you an idea of the way this route is going to break down in this parade. For those of you who've never been to one of these, it starts in Battery Park, Battery Place proper, and it goes down Broadway, the legendary Canyon of Heroes. It runs past Battery Park, Morris Street, Exchange Place, kind of the financial district downtown, Wall Street, of course, Pine and Cedar for you Forest Street people, Liberty, Cortlandt, John Street, where we have 2 reporters standing by. We'll give you the breakdown of our personnel later. Fulton Street, famous for the fish market. City Hall is where it ends up, and that's where we are. And there is the stage where later on the Yankees will speak and celebrate and honor themselves and do much blustery talking.
That's right. Just minutes ago, the Rockettes were practicing on stage. We're going to see them perform. But let's go to where it starts, and that is Gary Apple at Battery Park. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Good morning, guys. We are at the corner of Battery Place in Greenwich. This is where it all begins. We've been here for the last 3 years, and I can tell you this is the coldest it has been for one of these parades. But this is where it all gets going today. And from past experience, if we can look down this way, this is where the Yankees and their families will come in on buses down Battery Place, and then they will get on the floats that are behind me. There are 16 floats here that will have the Yankees and their families and the front office personnel that will carry them up the Canyon of Heroes. Now, Derek Jeter, who is the series MVP, will be right in the front of what else but the MVP float. And by the way, Yogi Berra is the Grand Marshal of this parade. So we'll see in a few minutes from back here at the corner of Battery Place in Greenwich. Guys, back to you.
All right, Gary, thanks very much. Okay. Sakanya Krishnan, always the first amongst the masses. She's down at Wall Street, Broadway. She's got the details on what should be a very exciting portion of the parade route. Hey, Sakanya.
Hi, Michael. How are you? You know, I was here last year, but the only thing that's different is that it's a lot colder. Here we are. Here's a whole bunch of people from Staten Island who basically have been here since 7 o'clock this morning. And then we have these women over here. They came from New Jersey. What's that cheer, ladies? Who let that dog out? Who? excited. They're waiting for things to kick off in about an hour. And that is just the situation. We're in the thick of it. We're excited. Bring on the Yankees. Bring it on. That's where we are. We will be here live bringing you all the latest things. So I'll send it back to you for now.
Sukanya, thank you very much. And I promise that by the end of this day, we will endeavor wholeheartedly to answer once and for all the question, who did let the dogs out? Because I think it needs, as we bring closure to this baseball season, to be answered. Maury Alter has been to a number of these parades. I know that his health, in some instances, has been endangered from year to year, and I think it's appropriate that we go now to him, standing by on John Street. Hey, Maury.
Hey, it's great. I'm here with Hazel Sanchez, by the way.
This is my first parade.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to come alone. She is going to watch my front and back, and of course, she'll be reporting too. And by the way, I came with my own missile this time, and I'm told that the 2-ply from Northern is the most effective and least harmful. Yes, it's true. I was hit a year ago by a pumpernickel, stale, of course, wrapped in aluminum foil. So we're keeping our eyes open for that.
Absolutely. I've got his back. I've got his back.
We have seen our first official arrest, but nothing serious down here as the crowd chanted to the arrestee. Well, I can't quote what they chanted, come to think of it.
I don't think that's appropriate.
They were a little
Maury.
disappointed in his behavior. But are you guys having a good time?
Yeah! This is the first family from
There's the
Bloomington,
first
New Jersey.
real surprise of this parade.
You guys having fun? Can you get a shot of this family here? This is the first family from Bloomington, hi, New Jersey. Can you tell me what time you guys got here this morning?
We got here around 7:30.
And are you having a good time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a little cold.
You got up pretty early and you're not in school today. Pretty cool, huh?
Pretty cool, but I don't think my history teacher will mind. I think this is a history lesson.
You know they do have a cheer.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
have a cheer. Can you give us your cheer real
We're
quick?
going to share the cheer with them.
Real quick.
Can you beat that Yankee team? Hell no way! Hell no way!
All right. And there's more to come. Back to you guys.
All right, Maury and Hazel, thank you very much. Maybe they'll work on that cheer a little bit.
What does it mean? What does it mean when you see Maury Alter dancing on Broadway with a roll of toilet paper in his hand? What is that emblematic?
It's more than we have time to explain in one afternoon, I'm certain.
Now, let's check in with Jennifer McLogan, who's along the parade route on Wall Street. Jennifer, you are a huge Yankee fan.
Not only to be at the parade, but look at our location. We looked out Wall and Broadway across from this majestic, historical Trinity Church. And Sukanya, I found out, buried just to the south, Alexander Hamilton and John Jacob Astor, who I'm sure right now are rolling over in their graves, anticipating the sound of the Yankee faithful and our heroes coming down Broadway. A gentleman I met earlier this morning, we've been here for many hours. I'm having to climb over quite a few things here. It's here from New Jersey. And he was kind enough to share a very personal story. And, sir, your name?
Barry Katz.
Now, Barry normally says he has teeth, but today, well, Barry, can you tell us what happened?
Well, I broke my bridge yesterday, and instead of going to dentist, it was more important to come here. Yankees!
Bridgeless and all, here we are at the Canyon of Heroes awaiting the Yankees. Back to you.
He says that now until lunchtime.
Yeah, then he's got problems.
Maybe I should have gone with the teeth.
So unfortunate, too, that happened to him while sitting in the 4th row and getting hit by a Chuck Knobloch throw. I think that's too bad. Season ticket holders should get better treatment.
It was a tough defensive year for Chuck.
To say the least.
And a whole lot of other toothless wonders down there, perhaps, coming up in the next hour. Let's go up to Jim Smith up in Chopper, too, who's keeping a long eye on the New York Yankees as they're making their way down to Battery Park. Jim?
Yeah, that's right, Michael. The Yankees left Yankee Stadium actually a little bit early. They were supposed to leave at 11 o'clock. They were a little bit anxious to get down to Battery Park. We're watching the parade of buses now make their way down the West Side Highway. We watched all of the players, their families, members of the organization board those buses. And again, they are on their way, making their way down to Battery Park. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. So stay right there. We're going to leave you with some sights and sounds of the parade that's just about to start.
Welcome back to the Salute to the Champs. You are looking live at the parade route in Lower Manhattan. Folks lining the streets, getting ready for a look-see at their favorite team, the 2000 World Champion New York Yankees.
Just us and a million of our closest friends hanging out on a Monday afternoon.
One of the big thing is obviously the floats. We have 6 floats this year, 6 Yankee floats, and I think a lot of the young ladies are looking for the MVP float with Derek Jeter's going to be on top.
You'd be surprised how much work actually goes into these floats. You know, they have Brett and myself putting crepe paper in these floats hour after hour.
I'm so tired from being up all night. This is the video of them coming to the parade this morning.
Right, they're coming from a company called Bond Parade and Floats. They're out of Clifton, New Jersey. They do this kind of thing every year. But, you know, they get relatively short notice because there's not much turnaround time between finding out who wins and having to turn out these floats.
I know that because either way this turned out, it was a hometown situation for them. They had done full preparation for both Mets floats and Yankees floats, so presumably at this hour somewhere in a parking lot in Jersey are a bunch of Mets floats that are being used for a lunch counter right now.
Actually, Mr. DeVito, who's with Bond, said that all they had to do was slap some orange on. Anyway, we're looking at ticker tape right now. There's a company that actually donates all this shredded stuff that really isn't ticker tape. It was the late 60s. They stopped using the real ticker tape. But everyone, I understand, just kind of uses whatever they find, whether it be toilet paper, phone books. You know, even our Maury Alter got slammed in the head the other.
Yeah, he forgot to get the memo that says, hey, not all phone books are shredded.
Exactly. So companies along the route just kind of make their own ticker tape, shred things up.
Am I correct in saying we're expecting 60 tons of this stuff today?
That's what they say.
Which seems like, now that strikes me like a lot of paper. I don't care where it comes from, if it's ticker tape or yellow legal pads. I'm told in '86 when the Mets won, 500 tons.
Ooh.
And I'm told that on VJ Day at the end of World War II, 6,000 tons of paper. So we're being ecologically conscious,
so this
presumably,
is
as a drop in the bucket.
Either way, we've got the Department of Sanitation as the last line of defense after the parade is finished. Those are the fine folks that'll help
and
clean
they do
this
a
up.
Fantastic job. I mean, the parade hasn't even started. They've got quite a pile. It usually takes, 3 hours, I understand, after the parade to get things
And they get the biggest cheer of any float that goes by.
That's right.
You know, it occurs to me that as we sit here and celebrate and we get into the minutiae of the floats and all the million people that are standing by, what it is that we're here to celebrate is a baseball team and what they achieved. And there was so much hype, I think, going into the Subway Series. Many people wondered, can something that had this much hype actually live up to it? And I don't know how you feel. I think it was fantastic, and it did live up to it. And the games were spectacular. Of the 5 games, 4 of them were 1-run games. The other one was a 2-run game, and it ended in dramatic, spectacular fashion. And I think we want to go back and take a look at one of the great series New York has ever seen.
Time in 5 years and 26th time in franchise history, they are the world champions.
It's a scene we've seen, as Joe Buck on Fox mentioned, frequently in the last half a decade. But, you know, look at that. We talk about athletes being jaded. We talk about the multi-million-dollar contracts. And when you see Joe Torre hop out of that dugout and shed a tear, I mean, that's kid's joy, isn't it, Michael?
And he's such an emotional manager, and you know, he just lets it out. All New Yorkers are in love with Joe Torre, no matter if you are a Mets fan. It's hard not to love this guy. We've been through so much with him through his bout with cancer and his brother's operation last year, Frank, and then Sister Marguerite, his sister, who everyone also loves.
You know, it's funny. He's 60 years old now, and people have talked about whether or not this is the end for him. What left do you have to achieve? You know, why not retire on top? And I think as we look at him get emotional, which we've seen almost every year, I think we may not appreciate Joe Torre, not just his managerial genius, but the good guy that he is, the member of the community that he is, until he's gone. And I think he largely gets taken for granted because there's so much talent on this Yankees team. I think we're inclined to say, anybody could manage this group. Again, they're all stars. Well, Joe Torre is a glue in a locker room and a clubhouse full of stars, full of egos that have potential to clash and become problematic. He keeps it happy and fun and pleasant, and I think we're going to miss him. We don't know for sure when and if he's going, but when he does, he'll be sorely missed.
Such an emotional moment for him after the ball games had ended, and interesting to note that it's not too often that a manager gets a chance to address his players in that type of situation. In fact, you were telling me just the other day, he never spoke to these guys.
In fact, he regretted the fact today will be the first time he gets to meet with his players as a group. You know, with all the media and the late finish to the ball game and the craziness and the celebration, he said he got out of the stadium at about 3 a.m. The players all dispersed with their families. He wound up in a diner at 5 a.m., had a turkey burger with his family, and it occurred to him at that hour, he said, you know something? I never talked to the fellas. I never got to sit. He said, I really wish I could have had half an hour just to sit alone with the doors closed and debrief and go over the craziness that was the Subway Series and pat the fellas on the back and tell them what a good job they did. And so I think they'll get to revisit that for the first time today. So it'll be a special moment, I think, for him on a different level.
He did get a chance to talk to the media, though, at least following Game 5. Here's what he had to say.
This is better than ever, you know, because all year we were counted out. You guys are too old. Y'all aren't playing good enough. But you know what? What's it say? This is champions. That's right.
Nobody was expecting us to be here. Here we are. Champions again, baby. That's right, guys.
It's an unbelievable feeling to win a World Series, especially this one where it seemed like everything was against us and people wanted us to collapse.
I'll tell you what, I didn't sleep at all those 5 games. I didn't sleep. I mean, I'm going to get some sleep now.
We didn't get a chance to hear from Joe Torre there. We'll have some comments from him a little bit later on. But what a clubhouse. It's so exciting to see that. And you could tell that these guys have done this before, but it's still just as exciting.
Yep.
And it's the fans out on the street that can't wait to see their heroes come by. Let's go out to Hazel Sanchez, who once again, Hazel, this is your first parade out on the parade route for us. How you doing?
Yes, it is. I am having the time of my life, Cindy. We're about a half a mile away from the start of this parade, and we are so pumped. Are we not pumped?
We're pumped, yay!
I have a family with me from Brooklyn who took the time off today from work. What is your name, sir?
Dwight Martin.
And your family? Well, let's ask you, what's your name? And you are so cute. You know, she is so knowledgeable. It shows you that this is really an event for all ages. Tell me who your favorite players are. Isn't she adorable? Now, you took off at work today. There's really no question in your mind that you're going to take off.
No question. Always here for the Yankees. Total support. 3 years in a row. We'll do it again next year.
And this is your wife?
Hi, Suzanne.
And you're having a good time?
Definitely.
Will you ever forget a day like today?
Never. Never, ever, ever. It's the best day in the world.
And who's your favorite team? Yankees. We are having a blast out here. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, I think we got the answer to the question from that family as to whether or not they were going to cut school today. If you do it with mom and dad with you, you probably get the blessing. Standing by at Wall Street and Broadway is Sukanya Krishnan. Sukanya, what's going on down there?
Hey, Brett, I'm with the guys that are actually going to do the cleanup once this is all done. How quickly are you going to get this all cleaned up? There's nothing on the floor right now.
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours. That's what they promised us. All right, excuse me, guys. Excuse me. I got to go to the other side. Excuse me. Excuse me. That you usually don't get to do, walk on Broadway, but here we are on the other side. Where are you guys from?
From Carmel, New York.
Carmel, New York. And how long have you been waiting for this? A year?
A whole year.
A whole year.
A whole year.
How long you guys been out here since?
4:30 this morning.
5:30. 4:30. Why?
So we can stand right here.
Everyone is excited. I'm shocked. I'm standing on Broadway. And you got to get this gentleman. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me.
Four-timer. Still here.
4 years he's been here in the past 5 years. What's different about this year?
The truth is, it's not as exciting as 96. The ticker tape in 96 really started at 9 o'clock. And it's more subdued. And also it's like 3 feet from the end to here. Which
but it's still pretty good, Absolutely. You know what I mean? You gotta love it.
It's a 4 feet.
You gotta love it. All right, you guys. Say hello to your mom and dad. Say hello. These are the guys that are gonna do and clean all this stuff. Come back to me. I'm still having fun out here. Bye.
Sukanya can have a good time in a phone booth. Never mind out in this kind of environment. She's having a great time. We hope you're enjoying yourself as well. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more on the Salute to the Champs live from Lower Manhattan. You're watching CBS 2. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to CBS 2's coverage of the Salute to the Champions. You are looking at a live picture from Chopper 2 of the Yankee convoy headed down from the Bronx in Yankee Stadium down to Battery Park, where they will unload and begin the parade. And fittingly enough, looks like they're on or near the West Side Highway, at least which part of which has been renamed Joe DiMaggio Highway. So no more fitting name to a road could there be than this one, as 19 buses full of Yankees make their way down to Battery Park. Hi again, everybody. Brett Haber alongside Cindy Shue and Michael Pomerantz. We're glad you could be here for our coverage. Fourth time in 5 years. Are we fired up?
We're fired up.
Very excited.
It's very noisy down here. Just to give you an idea, we are at City Hall where the parade's going to end, and we're just hearing a lot of announcements going on. So if we seem at all distracted,
it's City Hall. They're government people. They like to talk. It's all right.
But you know what? I believe, yeah, we're looking at the pictures now. These are the seats. 5,000 VIPs got special invitations to be here. And this is the high point for many of the people, and they actually get to hear the Yankees speak as they get their keys to the city. And again,
hard to believe exactly how many people will be here when they talk about, you know, estimates along the street in excess of 1 million people. 5,000 get to be this close to their favorite players. And you talked about keys to the cities. Everybody, every New Yorker, everybody here really has the key to the city on an event like this, because this is the first time that the Mets have played the Yankees in the series, the first time they get to revel in all that's gone on in the city of New York. So it's everybody, I think, getting a chance to take a piece of this event home with them.
You know, it's funny. So many people had predicted that there would be Armageddon between Mets fans and Yankees fans, and we've seen celebrations in Chicago and in Philadelphia where fans misbehave. And if ever a sporting event had potential to be problematic, it was this one, which was essentially a civil war in a city. But I think, in addition to being proud of the Yankees having won a championship, New Yorkers should be proud of the way they conducted themselves in front of the world, and they have that to celebrate as well today.
That's very true. Let's head to Battery Park right now, where Gary Apple has a special guest. Gary?
All right, guys, again, we continue to wait for the Yankees to arrive here. You mentioned the keys to the city. For the guys who have been through all these championships, it will be their fourth set of keys, but for David Cone, he will get his fifth key to the city because he got the extra one for pitching the perfect game. By the way, the Yankees will get on these floats behind us. You can see the float that's right behind us. It says Posada and El Duque, Roger Clemens, Andy Pettitte, Nagel, Turner, and David Cone. That is the float that they will get on. I want to bring in right now a guy who knows a little bit about baseball and about the history of baseball. He is Terry Cashman. I guess you would describe him as a balladeer.
The balladeer of baseball.
Balladeer of baseball. He wrote Talkin' Baseball, one of the great baseball songs of all time. And I know you wrote a Subway Series version of that song.
Yeah, this year I thought, in celebration of the Subway Series, which is unique to New York, that I'd write a song to the tune of Talkin' Baseball about all the great Subway Series and the players and the teams we've had in the past, and celebrating today also.
All right, so the guitar was a little bit out of tune, so we'll have you go a cappella. Let us hear a little bit of it.
Well, Timo was the rage, but Derek took the stage. Stanton and Mo were ready to throw, and they played ball. I'm talking baseball. Bernie, Benny, and O'Neill. I'm talking baseball. Piazza, Pettitzeal. Baseball. A Subway Series in New York.
Oh, that's nice, man. Of course, replacing, what was it, Willie and the Duke?
Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Right.
How have those songs been received?
It's just, well, Willie, Mickey, and the Duke was special, and it'll always be special. But this one, really, it's really captured something in New York. Everybody loves it, and they love the idea of hearing about the old Dodgers and Yanks and Giants, and now these Yankees and Mets have joined those ranks.
Terry, I know you're a New Yorker, so it's special to you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, Terry Cashman, really a part of Baseball Americana. Guys, back to you.
I find it curious that he sang the song on the air, because I know he gets a residual every time that thing gets played. So
it's a great rendition, by the way. I think we've all heard it in some fashion. Like Gary was saying, Willie, Mickey, the Duke.
Willie, Mickey, and the Duke was the original.
Yeah, mine stinks. Okay. We've established that. Jennifer McLogan over Wall Street and Broadway with her view of things. Jennifer, how's it going down there?
We'll do something like that. Hey there. It's easier for athletes to go from being just faces and names to being actual members of companies and having to train how companies are run like you're doing with your ventures. Yeah, I think
we couldn't quite hear Jennifer McLogan. We've got audio problems, but we're going to get back to her shortly. You know, I think it gives us a chance, if we can, to talk about why this victory may be even sweeter than the 4 that happened, or the 3 that happened previously. And I think part of it has to do, as we look at live pictures of the Canyon of Heroes as the million stand by and waiting, I think it has to do with the fact that this was not the dominating Yankee team that won 125 games 2 years ago. This was a team that had problems. This was a team that had a gigantic slump at the end of the season that people were writing off. And, you know, no, they're not as talented, perhaps, as the teams in the past. But do you think maybe that's what makes this sweeter? The fact that they overcame, the fact that they had the worst record of the 8 teams that made the postseason, and yet they overcame all that. Joe Torre kept them together, and they still persevered.
Very
Brian
true.
Cashman, the GM, doing a wonderful job. It's been under a lot of pressure as he's running the top team in the world. Young man had been given an opportunity from the Steinbrenner family, and here he is, plopped down in the middle of New York City, and has to put together a winner yesterday.
And in typical Steinbrenner fashion, after last year, after they won in his second season, you know, people were speculating as to whether or not Brian Cashman would be back, because he and George kind of were a little oil and water, and so that's emblematic of the way the Yankees have been throughout Steinbrenner's regime. I mean, they win, yet there's turmoil. The guy's young, all he's done is won, and you know, I think the fans appreciate, especially in this season with some of the midseason acquisitions he brought in, Denny Nagel, Jose Canseco. I mean, guys that played ancillary roles, but really were part of the team that won this championship. So I think Brian Cashman, as you point out, deserves as much credit as almost anybody else around here.
And our prayers go out to the Cashman family, who could not be at the final game because he was mourning the loss of his mother-in-law. So our prayers do go out to them. And we are going to take a quick break right now. Please stay with us, and we're going to leave you with some pictures of the Yankees arriving. Their convoy is just about here. And the Yankees are here. They are now coming off the 19 buses at Battery Park. Trying to take a close look. We can't really recognize them from this point, but they are here.
That's from the Mars Pathfinder camera. We're trying to hone in on faces. But the 19 buses are there in Battery Park. The Yankees are in town. They're going to stage themselves, and the parade should be underway within about 20 minutes.
This is exciting.
Very exciting just to see them making the trip into town. You can only imagine what the folks right now down at Battery Park are feeling, and I understand Gary Apple is in the thick of it all. Gary?
I don't believe it. It's the first thing you said right.
All right, again, Gary Apple is standing by. If I recall correctly, it was around this time last year, Gary, that you wound up dancing with the Rockettes. Do we expect anything that's exciting out of you this year?
Guys, it is awfully exciting down here right now. You know, you wait for this. This is when things really begin to heat up. These are the buses that are carrying the Yankees and their families. And as you can see right here, and Frank, if you can pan to these police officers, they just brought the Yankees down here to Battery Park. They had a police escort down here. I mean, they make it from Yankee Stadium down here to Battery Park very quickly, about as quick as you can ever make it from Yankee Stadium down to Battery Park. The Yanks are still on these buses. They will get off in an orderly fashion and then get on the floats that are behind us. Now, just imagine for the guys who have been here for all of the championships, the 4 championships over the past 5 years, from Jeter to Paul O'Neill to Mariano Rivera to Jeff Nelson. You would think this might be old hat to these guys, but they have said repeatedly that this is the thrill of a lifetime. None of them take it for granted. They know how difficult this feat is. And, you know, quite frankly, here in New York, some baseball fans might think this is something that can happen every year. But with free agency and all the different levels of playoff games you have to win now, it's getting exceedingly difficult to get back to the World Series and to win the World Series. And we saw it this year with the Yankees, the way they struggled late in the season and then pulled out that Oakland series in 5 games. It was not easy, and so these guys know it. They relish the moments to get back here and to get onto these floats and ride up the Canyon of Heroes. Again, as we look at the buses, they're sort of stalled here at this very minute, just waiting for the guys to get off, because they know when they get off these buses, it sets off pandemonium down here. So many of these fans waited throughout the night to see their heroes, and I said earlier that Derek Jeter would be in the front of the MVP trophy, the MVP float, I should say, and you can just imagine the craziness that will be surrounding Derek Jeter. This guy has become just well, an icon. At 26 years old, he is a baseball icon in the city of New York, and I would imagine in the very near future, Terry Cashman will have him in one of his songs. So, guys, as the Yankees get off the buses, we'll come back here. But for now, let me send it back to you.
Gary, thank you very much. And, you know, we were discussing in the sports office the other day the fact that it really must suck to be Derek Jeter. 26 years old, extraordinarily talented, dashingly handsome, out of this world rich, and dating Miss Universe. And
somebody's got to do it.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just a darn shame that we weren't available, Michael.
No, we do love it. It should be interesting to see if he's going to be all by himself on that float. I know there's this big thing that he's just kind of up there, and if there's going to be anyone else there with him.
I think he gets to pick his entourage. Well, if you're the MVP, it's good to be the king. You can pick whoever you want to be.
We'll see if Miss Universe is there with him. We are going to be covering every single second of this because the parade's about 20 minutes away. We're going to take a quick news break, though, with Angela Ray and Todd McDermott.
All right. Thank you all. Good morning. I'm Todd McDermott.
I'm Angela Ray, and while the festivities are underway, we're keeping a close watch on some of the top stories from CBS 2.
Let's begin with just a week before the campaign. 2000 comes to a close. Hillary Clinton has snagged another big endorsement in a race for the New York Senate. The Buffalo News is giving the First Lady the nod, saying she has a strong grasp of the economic challenges faced by the state. The paper said Rick Lazio's economic plan fails to consider the disparity between different regions of New York. Mrs. Clinton spoke about her plan on the early show this morning.
I was pleased today to be endorsed by the Buffalo News, which has followed the upstate economy very closely and came down on my side when I said that upstate needs targeted economic help.
A new CBS poll shows Mrs. Clinton holds on to a sizable lead over Lazio. Lazio got about 41% of the vote, while the First Lady has an 8-point lead with 49%. The poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 3 points. And in the New Jersey Senate race, it's endorsement day. Republican Bob Franks endorsed by the New York Post, the Record of Hackensack, and the Asbury Park Press. But Democratic rival John Corzine picked up support from the Home News Tribune of East Brunswick. The papers endorsing Franks criticized Corzine for trying to buy a Senate seat.
The presidential candidates are sticking to a hectic schedule for the final week of their campaigns. George W. Bush says his spirits are high, but there's still a lot of work to do before next Tuesday. He'll be campaigning in California and New Mexico today. Bush's Democratic rival, Vice President Al Gore, wraps up a 2-day bus trip in Michigan. Gore says this election is a fork in the road for Americans, and his way leads to further prosperity. An Israeli security guard was killed, another seriously wounded in the latest escalation of violence in the Mideast crisis. It happened in an Arab neighborhood in Jerusalem. Officials say the guards were posted outside an office building near a main shopping street. They were hit at close range. There was also more violence in the West Bank that claimed 2 more lives. An Israeli man was found stabbed to death, while a Palestinian was shot during clashes with Israeli troops.
A judge granted a retrial to a convicted killer of a city firefighter. Edwin Smith has been serving 17 years to life for setting the 1995 New Year's Eve fire that killed Lieutenant John Clancy in Jamaica, Queens. His lawyer argued that Smith was not properly advised of plea bargains that would have resulted in a more lenient sentence. Clancy's former colleagues are outraged. They still mark his tragic death with a memorial service every year.
If you're traveling by subway this morning, you should have no problem getting Metro cards. Crews have been working throughout the night to fix a software glitch that knocked virtually all Metro card machines in the city out of service over the weekend. But officials say 90% of the machines are back online.
Which, considering what's going on downtown today, it's a really good thing. I heard Joe's outside on the plaza. I'm sure he's got a coat on.
I do indeed.
And some gloves.
In fact, I have a couple of coats on, as a matter of fact. Yes, my glovies, I'm all set. We received some snow tumbling from the clouds yesterday, and you know what? It persists today out east of the city on Long Island and in eastern Connecticut. Anyway, it's the first time since 1979 that it has snowed in the month of October, and only the 17th time we've had October snow in New York City since records started being kept back in 1869. Let's check our temperature right now. It's a chilly one, I'm telling you. 47 degrees. We have a northeast wind gusting up to 23, humidity 42%, and the barometer steady. Our other temperatures, look at Newburgh, still lingering in the 30s, 40s elsewhere around our town. Here's the deal. It's the backwash from the low that brought the greater amount of precipitation over the weekend. It's still close enough that the clouds circulating around it could threaten to toss some, well, snow showers or, yes, possibly even rain showers at us today. Wind chills of from 20 to 30 degrees because the winds are going to persist, and we'll see highs today climbing only up into the 40s. And tonight, we're going to slide back in places below freezing in the upper 30s in the city, middle 30s on the island and all. And here's our 5-day forecast, middle 50s tomorrow, and look at where those temperatures are headed. Tomorrow, of course, Halloween. Hope you remember to set your clock back this weekend. Up into the middle 50s tomorrow, a chance of a scattered sprinkle. And, of course, there'll be partly pumpkins around the area. Wednesday into the 50s, and look at Thursday, Friday, and Saturday back at or above 60 degrees. That's your forecast. We'll talk more about it, of course, on New York Live at 4 today. Angela, Todd.
All right, you did say partly pumpkins.
Partly pumpkins, yes.
All right, just wanted to make absolutely sure. Thank you, Ira.
Sure.
Well, if you forgot to play Saturday's Millennium Millions, that's a mouthful. No worries, you're in luck. No one won the $110 million prize. So guess what? Now it's up to $125 million. But remember, if you want a chance at that particular pot of gold, you're going to have to buy new tickets for Saturday's drawing. And, of course, if no one wins then, it'll just keep rolling over and over until someone does. I hope it's me.
Okay, $125 million. Now it's serious.
Now it's
really
really
it was 110,
serious.
who cares? 125, now you're talking real money.
Now you're talking money.
That's it for us for now. Be sure to join Angela and me for CBS 2 at 5, right after the premiere of New York Live at 4.
Up next, we'll continue with our Salute to the Champs with Cindy Hsu, Brett Haber, and Michael Pomerantz.
You're looking live at the New York Yankees as they get off their buses at Battery Park. The beginning of the Salute to the Champions, the Canyon of Heroes. We've been watching through the commercial break, hoping that perhaps we could spot somebody, anybody, any Yankee we know. But we know they'll be getting off there, working their way up Broadway, up here to City Hall, where we're positioned, where you hear all the fanfare and music behind us. Quite a celebratory atmosphere, as you would imagine. 1.5 million people will line Broadway all the way up here to City Hall, and then 5,000 VIPs get the royal treatment here.
How do you get one? How do you get one of those tickets?
Oh,
how do you get one?
Well, I think a lot of people work at City Hall, honestly. And I was actually walking down there. There are a lot of kids down there, so it's really nice to see them. And I think they're friends of the mayor, pretty much.
More Republicans and Democrats sitting in the good seat?
Probably.
Yeah, both parties. But, actually, just to set the stage for us, it's this is City Hall right behind us. That's where the Yankees are going to get their keys to the city. And the seats right behind us is where those 5,000 VIPs are sitting. And Pablo Guzman is among them. And we go to him live to see what's happening down there. Pablo?
Hi, how you doing? I'm about 3 rows behind you, actually. If you turn around, you can see where I'm at. How you doing? Hello. I'm in the back of all those 5,000 folks that you were talking about. The best thing that's happened here, actually, was about 5 minutes to 11 o'clock. The Rockettes came out and did a rehearsal with no music, and they were perfect. I mean, they came out, they did their moves, there was no music. It was, somebody counted them off, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the hippest thing I've ever seen. Also was John Fogerty, former leader of Creedence Clearwater Revival, who as a solo artist did that song, Put Me In, Boss, I'm Ready to Play, center field. He was rehearsing, doing a sound check for his thing. Let me show you something here. Jim, come over with me, all right? I want you to see this weapon here. Now, normally City Hall, screens people carefully and for what they bring in here. This sucker is a confetti cannon, I think, right?
Confetti cannon, that's absolutely
this, somebody did a check and told everybody there's going to be a loud noise. They've got all the police officers here, and it was a loud noise. You just did this thing is amazing.
Oh, it is amazing. It's going to shoot confetti up 75 to 80 feet in the air. We have 6 of them all around the City Hall.
Really?
It's going to be beautiful.
6 of them?
Oh, yeah.
And the police know what's coming, right?
The police know. They've swept the whole area. They know that we're here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You see this thing? Man, we're like, literally, this is where they put Pablo, next to this. There's a little boy here who's very excited about, hi, how you doing? Oh, caught you by surprise. Look at those eyes. How are you? What's your name?
Vince.
Yeah? And how did you get here? These are hard tickets to get.
Well, you got more hooks than a tow truck, huh?
That's a New York guy. Nice going, Dad.
Go Yankees.
All right. You can see, now, I would say about a third of the people here are from various, community groups that got these tickets to their civic organizations. And then you have the kids of City Hall employees, and, why not? I mean, if you're a kid and you enjoy this, that's who should be here. And then further up that way are the kind of politicians that you really don't want to talk to anyhow. So that pretty much is what this crowd is like. Back to you.
All right, Pablo Guzman at City Hall, thank you very much. Let's kick it now over to Jennifer McLogan. She is standing by on Wall Street and Broadway. What's going on over there?
An incredible roar went up just a few moments ago. We assumed it was because people got word that the Yankee bus was on its way. Outside the windows of the American Express Company, you can see the fans coming out onto the ledge. That's where the huge noise began. We looked a little bit to the east of that at a luxury rental when, lo and behold, two women dressed in pink negligee began slowly doing a striptease. One by one, things flew off until both women were totally nude. And we've got all ages here watching, from 5-year-old Nina to 85-year-old Lillian Murphy from Elizabeth, New Jersey, who came all by herself to this parade. How did you get here exactly?
Bus, train, and subway.
Aren't you a loyal Yankee fan?
I sure am, all my life.
And you're feeling wonderful and safe and surrounded by friends?
Yes, I do. I really do. I'm happy to be here. And it's just wonderful to be with all Yankee fans.
What a true sport you are, just like these gentlemen here who cannot wait to start cleaning. What did you tell me earlier about this being an honor?
Oh, it's great. It's wonderful. I wish my son could be here. He loves it. Now I'm going to start my thing up to blow all the leaves, and I'll show you how to start it.
Oh, really? Okay, well, good luck. Good luck to this gentleman and all of the fans here. Come on! Whoa! Here we go! Here we go! All right!
Another blowhard in the television business. Go figure. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, though, with more of CBS 2's live coverage of the Salute to the Champs from the Canyon of Heroes in Lower Manhattan. We'll be right back.
The champs are here. The buses have arrived, and Gary Apple is right where they're getting off. Gary, you're at Battery Park. Who do you see?
All right, guys, we are waiting for the Yankees to get off these buses. A bunch of them have gotten off, but not all of them yet, and I'm standing by with a huge Yankee fan. This is Pat Welsh, and you told me this is your 4th parade. Yep. I know this is great for the players, but what's it like for a guy who just loves the Yankees?
Well, it's fantastic. You know, you don't have many opportunities to come down here. You only usually see them at the stadium. Right. And just to show them some of our appreciation and, you know, sharing with some confetti to make them feel special. Because, you know, it's not hard. It's very hard to get back, and these guys have been spoiled. But we're, you know, every time that they do it, we're going to come down and show them how much we like them.
I mean, the one thing that's really special to New York is this stuff right here, Pat.
Absolutely.
This ticker tape, and it's already falling here. Have you thought about what it would be like for this to continue on if they could win this a couple of more times?
Well, I haven't thought about it, but all I can think about is that I'll be here every year.
Who are you waiting to see?
I'm waiting to see all of them because it's a team effort. You know, 25 guys, just like, you know, Derek Jeter says it's best. There's no MVPs in the Yankees. That's why they win every year.
All right, Pat. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, thank you.
All right, good to meet you, man. All right, this is the story. This is why this parade is so great. It's the fans. It's the players. It is real. As you can see, New York here. Guys, back to you.
Gary, thank you very much. I think it's fitting that Gary has a bunch of confetti in his hand already. We drove down here at 8:30 this morning, and already you could see from the Canyon of Heroes reams and reams of paper already 4 hours before the parade flying from outside the buildings. You can see it's almost as if the parade's over. It's just about to start. We're going to take a break right now, and on the other side of that break, it's going to get going in earnest. The parade for the champs down the Canyon of Heroes, and we come back right after this.
If you want a copy of today's Salute to the Champs parade, call toll-free 1-800-747-7999. For $19.98 plus shipping and handling, you can relive all of the excitement of today's 2000 Yankees victory celebration. The number again is 1-800-747-7999.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the Salute to the Champs. You're looking at a live picture of the Canyon of Heroes. New York Yankees just arrived from Yankee Stadium via bus, and they are getting ready to get on board their floats. Derek Jeter, the MVP of the series, going to have his very own float. No throwing dollar bills, ladies. He's a single, but I believe that he is not shopping. That's the rumor mill churning. Either way, he's going to have a wonderful time. All the players are very excited about this. Their 26th World Championship, third in a row, fourth in the last 5 years.
And, you know, I actually wanted to raise a point about that because, as we mentioned earlier, yeah, we're a little spoiled about the 4 championships in 5 years. How about 26 championships in 78 years? Now, I realize we're in New York, and as you see the buses rounding the corner down at Battery Park and getting ready to go, I realize we're in New York. We're the biggest city in the world. We're going to win more championships than everybody else. But, I mean, not this many more. I mean, think about a city like Boston, for example. I mean, you know, it's a reasonable-sized city. They got tall buildings. They got everything that we have. They haven't won the World Series. Well, not everything, but, you know, they've got subways and built. Right. They haven't won since 1918. 1918. So think for a minute how fortunate we are to have had the Mets win twice, the Yankees win 26 times, and spoiled though we may be, it never gets any less special. And there are the buses rolling down towards Battery Park. 19 of them, and perhaps we should go over some of the other vehicular traffic that we will see as this hour progresses.
Nothing says party like the Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales. Some would say, especially when you combine them with the Rockettes, they'll also be with us.
You know, and that's a party, right? Leggy girls dancing and horses.
All right, gentlemen. We have 6 Yankee floats getting back on track here. And, you know, it's also great again to see Yankee legend Yogi Berra out there because, you know, he had the fight with George Steinbrenner. I think last year was the first time he had been in a parade for a long, long time.
And I think it's doubly emblematic that he comes back this year because of the significance of the Subway Series. You'll recall that in 1956, when the Yankees and Dodgers played in the last Subway Series, that was the year that Don Larson threw the perfect game to Yogi Berra. And people who are Yankee fans remember vividly that one image of Yogi Berra catching the final strikeout, running out to the pitcher's mound, and jumping, Yogi jumping into Don Larson's arms. I know my dad often tells me the story about where he was in high school when that happened, one of the most famous moments in Yankee history. And so for it to come full circle 44 years later as the Subway Series returns to the New York profile, very fitting, as you mentioned, Cindy, to have Yogi part of the festivities.
Now, if you are just joining us, we have been on the air since 11 o'clock, but the parade is just about to kick off. And just to reintroduce, I'm Cindy Hsu here with Brett Haber, our sports director, and Michael Pomerantz. Thanks so much for joining us.
I have absolutely no idea what people out there are able to hear, but I know from our vantage point, it's almost impossible to hear anything. We've got the band behind us at City Hall. They're entertaining the 5,000 VIPs who are on hand, and just the general noise in the atmosphere. 1.5 million plus people expected today. A large number of those, no doubt, are school children, which brings up a very interesting point. As Mayor Giuliani earlier the week had indicated that, as far as he was concerned, it's okay with him if you skip school to come out and check out the parade. School's chief was not too thrilled with that.
That's right. Chancellor Harold Levy said, well, I'm not so cool on that. However, even in the past, Rudy Crew, our past chancellor, was the same way. I don't think they can officially, since they're the school's chancellor, say, go ahead, take off. So I think it's kind of the company line, but they know a lot of young people are going to be here.
I like the fact that the mayor said, you know what, take the day off, but write an essay about it, because then it'll be a school project. And there's one of the Yankee floats. I'm not sure if we can tell which one it is. There are going to be 5 or 6, A, B, C, D, E, F. 6, A, B, C, D, E, F. 6. This one has Yankees staff on it, and they're gathering as the parade should be underway within the next 10 minutes or so.
That's right. And some of the other things we're going to look forward to is our great reporters who are out in the field. Sukanya has covered this parade last year, this year, and she is about the loudest and most enthusiastic reporter out there. Sukanya.
Cindy, I'm here with like 1 million of my closest friends. And they're just riled up. Look at this. This is how it feels to be packed in a crowd waiting for this ticket day parade to start. What time did you get here?
9.
9? Yeah. What time did you get here?
8:30.
And look at this face. It's only a face a mother could love. But come over here. These people have been standing. I mean, look at how tight it is. You can't even get through. It's like wall-to-wall people. And the whole time they're here is because they want to see. Who do you want to see? Jeter. They want to see Jeter. Who do you want to see? The Yankees. Who do you want to see? Jeter. Definitely. Who let the dogs out? We're having a great time. It's about to kick off soon. Come back to us. We're having a party. Back to you.
Sukanya, can you hear us? I guess she can. Sukanya, can you hear us?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, at the beginning of the parade.
I'm killing this woman, look. Go ahead.
You're from Staten Island.
I'm from Staten Island, and there's a lot of people from Staten Island here.
just wondering what it's like for you, having grown up here, to be in the midst of all these people and be so part of this parade.
Can I tell you something? I met my neighbor from across the street. I met 3 people that I went to high school with. I met a group of people that I went to college with. It's like a homecoming. Every year you come out here, and it's just awesome. And I'm just having a really great time. Glad to be a New Yorker. Glad to be a part of it. Bringing it to you on Channel 2.
Sukanya, thank you very much. We'll check back with you a little bit later on. Shifting gears a little bit, you know, earlier when we were showing some of the highlights from Game 5 in the celebration, we saw Joe Torre get very emotional. We saw him cry. I don't know if anything could be more emotional for Joe Torre than the '96 series. That was in the midst of the health troubles for his brother Frank Torre. New York went through that with the Torre family, and I know Gary Apple is standing by down in Battery Park with Frank Torre right now. Gary?
All right, thanks very much, Brett. And Frank Torre was just saying to me he had his 4-year anniversary from the transplant. You're feeling good, Frank?
Absolutely. It's been a wonderful run because I've had, you know, my heart 4 years now, and my brother's, you know, been in 4 World Series and won all 4 of them. So, and then, of course, to beat the Mets, that's unbelievable.
What a time for the Torre family. Frank, what's it been like for not just your brother Joe, but for your sister and you and for the whole family?
Well, you know, it's like a fairy tale because my brother has been in baseball for so long, and then to not only finally get in a World Series, but get it managing the Yankees, and then, of course, after, you know, what can you do for an encore, and then they have the Subway Series, and to beat a very difficult, you know, team like the Mets, and it's spectacular.
Frank, if you were to give your brother some advice, because there's so much talk, will he continue to manage the Yankees? Will he ride off into the sunset? Listen, you're a guy who knows about health. Your brother's had his own health issues, beating prostate cancer. Do you give him advice, and if he asks you for it, what would you tell him?
Well, I'd tell him if he was still having fun and it wasn't bothering his health to continue because he loves managing. You know, a lot's going to depend on his wife and his child, and I think he'll at least honor his contract, which is 1 year.
So you think he'll be back for at least another year?
I really do.
I want to ask you, Frank, you've been on that float before, you've been on the buses before. What is it like as you take that trip up the Canyon of Heroes?
It's absolutely awesome. I mean, it's spectacular. I was on one in Milwaukee, but there's nothing like
Milwaukee, Frank, nothing like New York.
Yeah, nothing like New York. And these people here are spectacular, and I know some of them are in mourning because of their Mets, but, you know, you have to look up into the sky and see nothing but people. They look like they're going to just tumble down on top of you.
Man.
You know, any one of my kids, I tell them they've got to be here once.
Frank, it's good to see you, and it's great to see you in good health.
Thank you very much.
All right, Frank Torre, the brother of Joe Torre. Great to see him doing well. Guys, back to you.
Gary, thanks very much. I think that's probably the closest thing that we've had to breaking news out of this parade so far. Frank Torre alluding to the fact that he thinks that his brother Joe is going to come back for at least 1 more year. Much speculation about Joe Torre's future, and I know the one thing that Joe said to me after Game 5 when everybody was asking, what are you going to do, what are you going to do? He said, look, I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'm 60 years old, and the one thing I can tell you is that when I leave, there's no coming back. So whatever decision I make, it's going to have to be for good. Frank, though, alluding to the fact that he thinks his brother is going to come back, I believe him.
Which is what we all hope. And we're going to take a quick break. Please stay with us because the parade is just about to start. On the flip side of the break, we're going to have the start of the parade.
If you want a copy of today's Salute to the Champs parade, call toll-free 1-800-747-7999. For $19.98 plus shipping and handling, you can relive all of the excitement of today's 2000 Yankees victory celebration. The number again is 1-800-747-7999.
Looking at a live picture of the Canyon of Heroes. The parade is just about to step off. And there are so many great things. There are going to be 6 Yankee floats. We're going to have the Rockettes and a lot of the actors from The Sopranos. So it should be interesting.
Maybe we should run down some of the other traffic. You mentioned the floats, 6 for the Yankees, 18 in all. 22 marching bands, 11 double-decker buses. The Rockettes will be kicking their way up Broadway. The Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales will be marching up the canyon. And to be honest, I have a personal problem as Mambo number 5 goes up, which reminds me, I'm still waiting for Mambos 1 through 4, but that's another story. Why the Clydesdales? Anheuser-Busch. The Busch family owns the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't want any other baseball teams involved in my parade. They're interloping. I have a problem with that.
I think as long as you pay money and you sponsor something, you can get your horses.
Yeah, they buy the beer at Yankee Stadium. I suppose they get to have their horses.
But welcome back. I'm Cindy Hsu here with Brett Haber, our sports director, and Michael Pomerantz. We've been on since 11 o'clock, and we are just minutes away from the start of the parade.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
I know. We got to say, what are they doing now? They're doing the, what's it called, Mambo number 2? Mambo number 5?
Mambo number 5, yeah.
And we actually have been listening all morning to the things they're rehearsing. A minute ago, we were listening to YMCA.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't actually get onto the air, because if you haven't seen Cindy Hsu do the Y, the M, and the C and the A,
that's right,
you're missing something special. I noticed that you did not partake in your Y.
No, I'm all for it. In fact, I was the official C.
You were the C?
Yes, in my last
I know, however, that when Cotton Eye Joe comes out later, you'll be...
I'll be the ham bone, the cheese tart, the whole bit. Let's run out to Gary Apple, who's talking with the Yankee catcher, one up, we understand. Hey there, Gary, how's it going?
All right, guys, we're with the Yankees catcher, Chris Turner. We were just talking. He was saying this is going to be his first trip up the Canyon of Heroes. What sort of thoughts do you have as you get ready to get on that float and head up the canyon?
Well, obviously, this is very exciting for me. You know, the last 2 or 3 years I've been at home watching these guys on TV, and it just feels good to be a part of it.
Yeah, just talk about, Chris, what it's like to be a part of this team, because it's going to go down in the baseball annals as a dynasty, as a baseball dynasty. Are you able to step away from it and understand that, being so caught up in it?
I don't think I've had time to reflect yet. I think after a couple of weeks at home of golfing and relaxing, I'll get a chance to really appreciate how lucky I am to be a part of this dynasty and a part of this organization.
What is it? You've been in professional baseball. You've played on different teams. What is it, Chris, about this team, this clubhouse, that is different than others?
It's the chemistry here. People on this team, front office, staff, players, they all really sincerely care for each other and pull for each other. And I've been with several different teams, and I know the difference, and that's exactly what it is.
What was the Subway Series like?
Well, it was exciting, obviously. You know, it's electric. We were just worried about winning the series. We weren't really worried about it being the Mets and all that kind of stuff. We just wanted to win another World Series, and fortunately we did.
You celebrated on the field at Shea Stadium. Was that a little odd?
I think it was, but I think once we got out there and the celebration, jubilation was, you're kind of lost. You don't know what's going on. You're so happy for your teammates and yourself that you're just kind of lost, and just fine.
All right, Chris, enjoy the ride up the Canyon of Heroes. It's something to be remembered for a lifetime.
Thank you.
All right, Chris Turner of the Yankees taking a moment out. Guys, back to you.
All right, Gary, thanks very much. The question was raised during that interview, who's Chris Turner? And I think it's a valid point, because it just goes to show you how valuable Jorge Posada was to the Yankees this year. Second straight year he's caught more than 150 games. Chris Turner's a nice backup, but if Joe Torre said if he had to pick the most indispensable guy on this team this year, it was Jorge Posada, and we're happy for Chris that he gets to ride in the parade, but we hope not to see too much of him anytime soon.
Busted. Okay. Well, anyway, they are going to get their keys once they arrive here at City Hall at the end of the parade, and we just wanted to show you a little bit of what's being given out for free. The Yankee Doodles.
Yankee Doodles.
Gotta have your Yankee Doodles. What else you have?
You got the peanuts.
Are these salted or not salted?
I don't know. You check them out. I think they're not salted. So basically ballpark food, and of course, the Cracker Jacks.
Yeah, but how come you have all the food? I have confetti and one lousy pom pom.
Right? I gave you some Rolaids.
Oh, you need after the food.
Yeah, great.
And by the way, you know, we're like right over the thing. Can we hit Pablo Guzman from here with the confetti?
I think so.
I'm going to give it a go. There he is.
Give it a shot.
Where's Pablo?
Oh, no, you see? How about the peanuts? How could you do it?
Yeah, here, wait, here, Pablo.
How about the peanuts?
Where are
I used to be a vendor at Yankee Stadium.
Hold on, Brett's got
right
some
over
for
here.
you.
Oh, I'll show you how to do it. Oh, that's awful. You guys, oh, there you go. Okay, now you reach. Now you're good. Yeah, all right. He's good.
It's like an elephant.
Get in the bag. Individual peanuts. He doesn't throw the whole bag.
Open your mouth. Pablo, open your mouth.
Yeah, right. Open my mouth. Yeah, right. Believe it. There you go. Caught it. I got it. See that? All right.
See,
we don't mess around. Jim, let's show the folks over here something, all right? Now, you see the confetti and the paper that's already caught in the trees? theoretically, a ticker tape parade, you would think, you know, when the parade starts, that's when they let loose with the ticker tape. Not here. Before the Yankees even got to Battery Park, the paper started coming down. This came floating our way, and we didn't know how heavy this was, and we all ducked. Yeah, more peanuts, right. So you can see, by the way, you guys were talking before about Mambo number 5. There is a Mambo 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is an old Perez Prado tune that's a remake from the 1950s. There was a big groan from the crowd about 15 minutes ago because they played a highlight of Yogi Berra's career, and the person that did the introduction, well, kind of referred to Yogi as kind of not being with us anymore, and everybody here knows differently, so that was not a good moment. Back to you guys.
Nothing like being proclaimed dead while you're still alive. That'll really bum out a parade.
Yogi, I think, is on the buses. By the way, they've also given out the schedule for how this is going to run. From roughly 2 to 3 o'clock, they're going to begin, of course, with the voice of Bob Shepard, and then go into the general welcome, the organ that you hear, Eddie Layton, who plays at Yankee Stadium, and then somewhere around 2:30 or in the middle of that hour, that last hour, is when they're actually going to get to giving out the keys. But first, you have to sit through the mayor and the governor, you know.
Thanks, Bob. I would like to report to the world that Yogi Berra, perfectly healthy and alive.
And well and in the parade. That's
for anybody who was worried.
Very comforting, yes. Make you a little bit nervous. Last time there was a Subway Series in this town, it was Brooklyn against the Yankees in 1956. I don't assume either of you were there.
No.
No, that probably isn't a stretch. Maury Alter, though, found some gentlemen in the crowd who actually was there. Maury joins us over there at John Street and Broadway. Maury.
Hi, guys. How you doing? I got the Nitzbergs. I know. Were you guys even on the planet in '56?
Not quite. Not yet. Not
that
at
in
point.
itself is extremely depressing. But Michael Nitzberg was there in 1956 when what happened?
I was privileged to see the perfect game in the World Series. It was Game 6 when Don Lawson pitched. A perfect game for the New York Yankees. It was probably the best game that I've ever saw in my life. And that's one of the reasons why we're waiting to see Game 6 in this series, but it never materialized.
Oh, you had tickets? That's the one you had a ticket to?
Exactly, Maury.
Okay, and that's your strategy, right? You guys always buy Game 6.
Exactly.
You know, with the Yankees, it's not such a good idea anymore.
Not anymore.
6 fanatics.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, here's a question. You saw that great moment by those great Yankee teams. How does this team that won 4 out of 5 compare?
This team, in my opinion, has the most heart. They were not the most talented, but they got the job done on sheer grit, determination, and heart. They were a team of the fans. This was the team of the millennium, and we're very proud of them.
How does it make you feel to witness something like this one more time?
Maury, this is really, for me, it's twice in a lifetime. For my children, it's possibly once in a lifetime. This is probably the biggest thrill in sports that I could imagine.
Mr. Nitzberg and Sons, thanks so much for being with us. We're going to go back to you guys, hear from John and Broadway.
Thank you.
Okay, Maury, thank you very much. Great find to find that gentleman to tell us a little bit about 1956. The parade is just about to kick off. I'll give you a quick preview of what we can expect. The police escort is going to kick it off, and then the SUNY Color Guard. We have one of the 22 bands, I believe, marching bands.
No less.
6 Yankee floats. We've got the Rockettes are going to be coming in there. And also sopranos. I know you're a big soprano fan, Brett Haber.
I'm a big time. Yeah, that's going to be my favorite part of the festivities.
You know, Gary Apple's been working the Battery Park, starting point of the parade. He tracked down Denny Nagel, and Denny Nagel's always a great interview. Gary, how are you?
All right, guys, we are standing by with Denny Nagel, Yankee pitcher Denny Nagel, who's getting ready for his first trip up the Canyon of Heroes. We were just talking with Chris Turner, who's going to head up there with you for the first time. What's going through your mind right now?
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm going to have bigger goosebumps than going out in front of 50,000 at Yankee Stadium. I mean, 1 million plus people out here. It should be something crazy and special.
You hear about the Yankee lore, about the Yankee mystique. You were traded over here mid-season. Has it lived up to everything you expected?
Everything and then some. You know, I mean, I'd hope this would be the end result, winning a World Series and having a ticker tape parade. That's why you play this game, to hopefully be in a World Series and win one.
This is a day for celebration, to enjoy a championship, but it also has to be a day for me to ask you a baseball question or two. And you and I were just talking. You're a free agent. you can possibly leave New York. What are your thoughts about it, Denny?
Well, obviously, you know, winning a World Series and everything makes it difficult to even think about leaving here, but as a player, you only get so many go-arounds at free agency, and I think I'd be doing myself an injustice if I didn't at least go out there and see what's out there for me.
It's very tough for teams to find good left-handers. You've been one of the best over the past few years. Joe Torre at times got on your case a little bit in this series. How's everything with you and Joe?
Everything's fine with me and Joe. I think I just fell victim of the fact that I hadn't been with Joe the last few years like some of these other guys have been. And then that sometimes is the case. He just doesn't know what I can do in the situation. So hopefully if I do return, he'll be able to see that over a long period of time.
He is an intensely loyal man, is he not?
Yeah, he is, you know, and you got to respect that. I mean, with guys like Coney and Bernie and all these guys that have been through the wars with him, he puts that loyalty to the test.
Denny, I saw we pulled you actually off your float. Who are you going to be riding with?
Some of the other fellow starting pitchers and some of my battery mates, the catchers.
What have they told you to expect?
To expect the unexpected, because it's New York and you never know what's going to happen.
You know, the ticker tape's going to come down. As you look up now, we can see it already starting to come down.
It's a sign of the snow to come, I guess.
Denny, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming by.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Yankee pitcher Denny Nagel, who said he's off to Colorado when this is over to enjoy a few weeks of rest and relaxation. But really, guys, to see the players interacting with the fans and to see the fans down here for the 4th time in 5 years, it is a sight to behold. Guys, back to you.
Gary, thank you very much. You know, I got a chance to talk to Denny Nagel on the field after Game 5, and you got to remember, he started this season in Cincinnati, Ohio. Couldn't even have dreamed, he said, of winding up on a winning World Series team. And he said, you know, I asked him, what are you going to do next year? You're a free agent. He said, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, but I know that I'll always remember this moment. I dreamed about it since I'm a kid. He said, I lose my cell phone, I lose my car keys, but I'll never lose the memory of being on this field with these guys at this moment.
The parade has started. We just saw the Brian McMahon Senators marching parade out. There's Denny Nagel. He's signing some autographs at Battery Park. I think you see Andy Pettitte back there.
Jorge Posada in front of him. And there's Roger Clemens with the visor on just behind Denny Nagel. Probably the most controversial figure of this World Series by a long shot.
But it is so nice to see how freely they're just signing baseballs left and right. You know, because some players have issues with that.
You know, it's interesting as we look at Roger Clemens. I didn't realize until doing a little research that back in 1981, Roger Clemens was originally drafted out of Texas by the Mets. The then manager of the Mets was Joe Torre, who took a look at Roger Clemens, a skinny kid at the time, and said, you know what, I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got it. He's a little too raw, and he took a pass on him, didn't sign him, went back to college, and then signed with the Red Sox 2 years later. Otherwise, it could have been completely different. We could have had Roger Clemens in New York in a Mets uniform for the last 16 years.
And right now we're looking at a very popular figure, El Duque. There he is, giving a high five. And
still no word exactly how old El Duque really is.
It's a great question. You know, there's a lot of mystery about El Duque as we look at him climb up onto the pitcher's float. First of all, he floated over from Cuba, and people said it was on a raft. And then the story developed, and we heard maybe it was on a boat. And I think by the time it was over, it was on a Carnival cruise line. And then nobody knows how old. He's either 30 or he's 83. But no, he's like 30 or he's 35. Nobody knows.
Louis Tion practiced the same method of age.
We're going to carbon date him at the beginning of next season.
Cut him in half and count the rings. It's incredible to see this happening year after year and still see the same excited faces on guys who have been in this league for so long. They're not jaded. They make more than enough money to walk away. And they choose to stay in the game, which is wonderful for the fans and wonderful for themselves. And you can see just how much they enjoy it.
And right now we're looking at a live picture of a very special car. That is Yogi Berra and Mrs. Carmen Berra are in this car right down here. And again, we are just so happy he is participating in the parade because that George Steinbrenner thing is hopefully over.
And by the way, he's the Grand Marshal this year.
That's right.
We should point out. So he is in a place of honor for not only being a legendary Yankee, but for being the official ceremonial tet.
And what were your favorite Berrisms or Yogiisms? What do they call them?
Yogiism? No one goes to that restaurant anymore. It's too crowded.
Well, it ain't over till it's over was the most famous one. And what did he say? He's never right half of the time.
And he's exactly wrong the other 50%.
Right.
If it's hard to see him, it's probably because Yogi's crouching. I don't know if you can get out of that position after you've been a catcher for so long. You're just a perpetual crouch.
I had a chance a couple of years ago when I met him for the first time to shake his hand. First of all, what a warm and sweet man he is. But if you've ever shaken the hand of him, or for that matter, any other guy who's caught for a long time, his hand is so, first of all, it's huge. Second of all, it's mangled. I mean, because he probably has had hundreds, if not thousands, of foul tips off of that hand, and it's just that's a strong, rough, weathered hand.
Probably the most demanding position on the field.
Without
when
question.
you see guys like Posada, who you said caught 150 ball games, Mike Piazza across town catches day in and day out. The wear and tear on these guys.
I don't know how Mike Piazza does it across town and still manages to be as productive a hitter and relatively speedy on the base paths as he is. It's a rough and tumble position on the body. Guys don't last that long.
And we are looking at one of the many Yankee floats with the World Series trophy right there in front. And Mayor Giuliani has the tradition of actually, there he is right in the back. Mayor Giuliani is the biggest Yankee
With
fan.
Joe Torre in the hat there waving.
And
how does that work, Brett? Are you does the organization keep the trophy, or do they just get to hold it for ceremonial purposes?
You know, it's a good question. I know that, if I'm not mistaken, yes, they do get to keep it. I'm trying to think, one of the leagues they give out a replica, and in the other leagues, yeah, I think they get to keep it. And I know Jorge Posada was running around with it on the field after Game 5, and it didn't look like he wanted to give it back. But yeah, they've got a bunch of them up in the Yankees offices, and yeah, I think they get to keep one, and a replica goes to the Hall of Fame, or vice versa. I'm not sure.
And in years past, the mayor has actually displayed the World Series trophy in City Hall for a short period of time, so that the public can come take a look at it, because not many of us have seen this in person.
And you know that you can see there's a pretty good look right there of the World Series trophy. Each one of those flags that raises up out of the trophy is emblematic of the teams in Major League Baseball.
I don't think there's a kid in this city, in this country, that doesn't have this type of dream at one time or another of getting to play in the major leagues. Getting this close to their stars is something that just doesn't happen.
Well,
it's amazing.
Well, first of all, I kind of wanted to ask you about that, because some of our viewers may not know that in addition to being the dashingly handsome anchor for CBS2,
oh shucks,
you, my friend, were a certifiable, bona fide minor league baseball. Can we say, Cindy? Can we say star?
No,
definitely.
No,
that's
okay,
a little
never mind.
strong.
But he's got a baseball card, and you played. How many organizations did you play for?
I played with 4 organizations. I played 5 seasons, and played with a couple of the guys that you're seeing.
Who did you
in some
play
of the
with?
series. I played with Denny Nagel.
Did you?
And the stories about Denny Nagel I cannot share.
Really?
For no other reason. I'm sure that his parents are.
And you were a pitcher. So, I mean, as a minor leaguer, I mean, I know as a kid that never even got close that I dreamt about this, standing on my front lawn having a catch with my friends. I mean, you were in that world where that was a goal. I mean, what kind of pedestal did you as a baseball player put these guys upon?
Well, I can tell you that I went to Major League Spring Training with the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1991, and it was the first time that I was on the same field with the guys I had been watching for years. Barry Bonds was on that team, Bobby Bonilla. I played under Jim Leland, Andy Van Slyke, guys who had torn up that league for so many years, and here I was on the same field with them. And I have to tell you, I was with them for a month and never felt like I belonged. Always was in awe. I never really got over that feeling. By the time I was optioned down to the minors, sent down, I still remember walking out of the clubhouse on the last day thinking, was I really here? Did this really happen? And don't pinch me, because I don't want it to be a dream. Turned out it was as close as I would get again, but it was just a phenomenal experience.